So starting retroactively, some type of drug being thrown in the air, passing sedative. Two random females well dressed, females faster than females. So I suppose we're gonna get new context if all of a sudden something windy to happen at the time, right? So there, as a video, as they interrupted, and this guy was coughing in front of me, another criminal child, by the way. So just to understand further context when I say everyone, the thing here is about Chip.
I have to go. There's nobody else letting go to us.
So it's another criminal leaving the child in his quarters in the table next to me. By the way,
myself, like a assertion. As that, like, yeah, she doesn't want you. And also the things that I'm feeling. The pressure driven is not news today.
Oh no, they're just parading a bunch of small children right next to me, not to mention other children around for the sake of it.
It's lack of assertion. As that, like, yeah, she doesn't want you. That's life. Every day she doesn't want you. We're not leaving because she wants you.
Talk about Chip.
We're not leaving because I'm not taking her because I want you myself. I'm taking her because I don't have a choice. I have to go. There's nobody else.
Same context for the thing. When I went there, I was saying, I'm gonna go back just to show you because I also don't know when they interrupted it. I don't know what nonsense is that. When I was going, I said, this is the largest release of test drugs for me. Probably thinks that they're here in the mall.
Steal. It's a major search. There's nothing different right now. At the time when I was will hunt it down, it's a matter of minutes, 18 seconds. This is a very big deal. Very big deal. And also the things that I'm feeling. The pressure driven is nothing new today for this time, but it's lack of assertion. As that, like, yeah, she doesn't want you. That's life. Every day she doesn't want you. We're not leaving because she wants you. We're not leaving because I'm not taking her because I want you myself.
Anyone around
don't have a choice. I have to go. There's nobody else letting go to her.
Right?
They kidnap her mom and they give her the shot to leave. That's why we leave.
I mentioned that to you. Well, in front of you. I saw one hand here, the other hand here. My penis is in the pants, so you couldn't expect from that. So, as I said, in front of you. As I said, I actually mentioned that when I seen it. Right there. There's a police car. Right in front of the open space. You can actually see the... I forgot. This is the player that doesn't do anything. 1727. That's important for this. Before it would just be a casual passing thing to mention. But with this... What's the difference? Open eyes, that's exactly what you're doing. That's a criminal children. That's a big criminal. I'm not explaining that to you in details now. Later on I understand. Stick down my word. Because the issue is expect me to actually explain certain things. And I'm going to explain the actual discussing thing later. Just keep in mind that you think they could have done that with a very small child. That's all I expect. That's all I want you to do. The rest are going to be given to you later. so good. That's supposed to be. Keep skipping, I don't know. You would imagine they're playing slowly, less resource demanding or not. But notice the battery draining as you're looking at it. Yeah, this is one of those situations, but it goes to show what I'm talking about. So it's stupid. Right there. That's what they call military police, is the yellow one. If you see the thing. Now, you notice that clearly that's not bad, that's not playing at a slow rate of speed that it might normal, right? Now, the issue is the amount of evidence, even today, I guess, almost, of you seeing that. Because in the same way that, yeah, there'll be relevant evidence today, but guess what is also important? They're probably going to tamper with the videos, right? So the amount of relevance you have on seeing that, which is important, is very relevant, is something unique happening today. The same day you saw something extremely unique happen prior, right after major release of the same disc drugs that they're throwing here on me on the 31st, and yesterday on the 2nd of June, 2023. So yeah, it's very relevant to simply describe that at that point, which you've never seen before. But, I'm not moving. But, the comparative effect of relevance of that was what you see them tampering with this video player as it was playing. So you would play a slower video, and I'm going to show the quality of the video just in case you think that requires some huge processing power. We're talking about a 720 by 240p video. Sorry, a 320 by 240p video. This is not often you mention that one. Current total size for the entire, I think, 40 minutes is 98 megabytes with an M, megabytes. That's what was struggling to be played there at a slower speed. Okay, to the point where it was not like section, it was just bad. That video is going to be given to you as well, just look at the other one. It's going to be online. But I'm just showing to you in context. Okay? Context matters. And when you see the things you saw, you know, every video in between, the other one's very small. Sorry, the phone crashed due to the draining the battery. Let's see if it starts on this time. You know these days how the phone just starts on immediately after. Also, the long time it takes to move. That's why I moved the file safe to that thing first. But this card is full because it's too much shit. It's always too much shit. And you notice that all the other cards in Paraguay would increase by $20 as of recently. It's me. In Brazil is even more. So, I pointed out, also, just to point out, at least on that place, even I asked the other ones too, how in here it's more expensive than it is in Rio de Janeiro, which you should buy here from Paraguay. So crossing the bridge costs more money than carrying it all the way to Rio. And not just a little bit more money, which should be more than you need to pay, but 100%, 200%. There's a point or two. Okay? Oh yeah, and not to mention, you're gonna know the best part of this crime. Now they all go live their lives. Like all the criminals who are involved in this, not just the one who saw that. about the other one. Just going to, if you like, see that snail over there? The one in the back who's just going away. The attention just was supposed to be looking at Chip, except he wasn't looking at her. He was looking at me. The entire time approaching us, he was looking at me. He batted an eye at her and then kept back at looking at me. I just want to point this out very clearly. That the hag that just passed away, going away, he was staring at me the entire time. Also, I want to point out something else, which is the weird ass behavior of the other child, whatever the fuck that was, going that way again. There was, again, as I'm this thing pointing my cat, he looks at me weird as he continues to walk in the same way. I think he just wanted the individual to be looking weird, that's the point. And that's the thing, I mean, what they do. Again, the real victims in this crime are the ones you're seeing right now. So, just pointing out for that, it might have been that hag, I don't know. But as I said, he was staring at me. As he got close to her, on top of her, they looks at her for like this, and then he goes back and staring at me. And it was like, that sounds suspicious as fuck. And as I said, for all those criminals, for them it's just like, after that it's just normal life, right? Just continue to do what they did, they came here to do that, and that's how it goes. This is how this crime has lasted for these nearly 4 years. They do the things that you see, which they found hilarious, if you hear that in the background, perfect timing again. And then they go on to their life. Okay? So they just so I cannot have any resemblance of normal life, because they find it funny. So this is a side that I no longer have a life, and presumably no resource to be done to that, which everybody be knowledgeable about. And as I said to you, the message that sends, and that's, as I said, what this is the war crime is, because that's the point, that's the message, that's the idea. That they can do whatever they want, they do that explicitly. You don't see anybody hiding, right? Everybody knows. Clearly nothing's happening bad to them, so it's completely clear. They can do whatever they want, no consequence. Exactly as the point. So, as I said to you, that's this war crime. That's exactly what it is, and that's how it goes. For nearly 4 years. Right? There's not a single person that talks to Chip that is talking to them. Okay? So, again, as the title goes, actually, if you think that, if you don't understand that, you're not the person should be arbitrating any of this, because it's self-evident for you to understand. Okay? Good point. And as I said to you, but then is that? Now, is someone going to assault me? Is some other crime going to be done? As I said, some atrocity to be done one way or another. You see how they have a very practical effect today. Because you're going to listen to that criminal, and you will listen to that criminal in a minute. Actually, I let the phone charge a little bit. I prefer to prioritize doing this one. This one concerns me more. That one doesn't concern me that much for the evidence. I just want you to realize the time when I initially said to you, I have to keep some battery on that phone, because you never know when some atrocity is going to be done to us, and we might need to record that in an emergency. And lo and behold, in this case, this phone, all of a sudden, it stops recording. It doesn't record in the camera, it doesn't record in the screen recorder, it doesn't record in the audio recorder, it doesn't record anything at all. The other phone has no battery, that's why they chose that moment, right? Also, perfectly preyed on. Perfectly preyed on. As I said to you, just a normal day, just a lot of fun. But as I was saying, again, what I said in all the more recent videos, it doesn't take a single bus. It takes a single good bus. And what I said when I was using the bus, you want to listen to the argument, to listen to them face value. You can't listen to them face value for what it's worth. If you want to know who's right and wrong, you need to listen to what they have to say. If you want to know why there is no two sides to this, you need to listen to what they have to say in the evidence. I am completely optional at the end of the day. If you just actually have the interest, which might be there on this point, which is why I try to show to you. Also, why it's relevant, and I point out that most people watching on YouTube are also criminals. Because, first off, they're doing that in their classical fashion, if you just witness the most absurd way possible, and they can pitch. Again, what they're known for, right? What they know as, excuse me. And on the second one, you have the now on the more later point. That's when you're pointing out that no reasonable person would watch a YouTube video that is like just the auto rubbing and nothing on the screen. Because the issue is, as I said, I upload those things with one I'm just kind of select most of the time when I'm doing uploads. They're drugging me right now. And that's the point. Now, is that a big deal? Is that a huge amount? Well, not a huge amount, but it is enough. And they're happening in collision with the other thing that they threw on the other crimes. Like all the crimes are one crime. If Chip wasn't here with me, I would be over there in the eating area, not to be anywhere there. Just notice how they were drugging me, particularly in those last days. Sometimes they would change streets. Yeah. Now I have to be on this street because of the crime they did to my mom. Okay, so this is a damage file. I need desperately the space, so I'm gonna delete that. Be advised on that. This is one of the previous files that they destroyed. I think that's why it's there and not in other places. If I remember right, that file should be elsewhere actually. It's from 24th of May. No. So there's a weird ass cologne being thrown in here. Imagine that's why there's a lot of giggling coming from that. You notice the recent giggle coming from my left and my back? I.e. the opposite direction of what the phone is. I imagine it has something to do with a weird smell. They use that as, because they find ridiculous that after they kept throwing those things when they're doing crimes to me. And it's a weird ass cologne. So I don't know what the point of that is. It's a weird ass male cologne, which I pointed out. I never really pointed out any points. So this is the first time. This is an important one to go into the file, right? Because what is even the point for that? And I just wanted to stop and actually think for a second that they would release this weird ass male cologne. And up to this point, I never would comment on that around me when they're doing the crime. And again, I didn't even mention that. So, from my perspective, because I'm accused of being Walkman, because you see them posing for you. And I went post up, I never commented on once. And there was giggles, and that was the action being done in front. Keep that in mind. What is even the point? So as I said, you want to understand who is right and wrong, you listen to what they have to say to you at face value. Because the arguments exist at face value and you prove them wrong. And you want to know not only who is right and wrong, you want to know that there are no two sides to this, that they essentially just that. Then you also listen to the evidence as it goes, things like this. Not the argument, just the evidence. That there was a release of a weird ass male cologne at a specific time with giggles in the background that I never mentioned once. A lot of attitude from the females, once again, pointing at me, and looking at me, not the cat. Although one is pointing at the cat, as she made sure to turn around to point the camera. But, again. So, that be the evidence, by the way. So, files, oh yeah, the zooming on the thing while the screen is locked. Wonderful. So, best example. You know what? Forget about it. What I was gonna say was that the evidence that the ample doing transfer on this phone. Well, a better example than that. There's this very video. I just saw the zooming in and out. Yeah, you can imagine why that would be funny. No, it wouldn't. But you can see some boundaries, more or less, for that. So, put those things for the other one. Okay? And as I said, simple question. In the middle of this walk line, as you could tell, what would you do? Again, this is entertaining. This is happening. That's why you see faces, you see stories, you see context for what is happening. It's the one method I have because of those criminals that they have inside. So if we start it, you think something's going to change? You think it's that you actually try to deal with the crime? That's what you expect us to do in the earliest, right? So, very good advice on that. As for this, but as I was pointing out, again, as I said to you before, I had no idea any of this. I just driving and all. knowing that there's a shitload of things that I haven't managed to finish, and after spending a night where they threw so much narcotics to me, right after going bed, just destroy the place I had to sleep. Just for that, nothing else. I was so cheap. Even in the morning today, you got to see also how they collapsed between the back. Specifically, the same female that I said was knocking downstairs seemed to have been there again. He looked at me and then moved out the other way, picking up the phone and typed something in it. You know the one that I mentioned was downstairs last time I saw was leaving the mall? I'm quite sure it's there. I'm not sure. I don't see that well from far away. No, it's different. Either way, back to the point. How much space do I have? As I said, this is not demonstrated on my part. I have no clue of things that should happen. All of that, just figured out how much free space. So, because of whatever they did here, it doesn't show here for some reason. Which again is such a natural occurrence at this point that I don't even bother too much on that. To be advised, the only thing disconnected for is to transfer those files. So knowing the size kind of matters a lot. And there's nothing there. Just so you know. That's the file right there. This one is. It's a file. So that's the file. Through the 24th. I think so. At least the name is the same, unless it is exactly the same. Again, no preparations for that. Just deal with things as they go and trying to free up some extra space so I can move the file to the card so I can put it on this phone because of this. You remember what I said to you then? That they can do that already? It's no difference. The only difference is that now they were acting on the things on the phone. And then you see today the phone shutting down once that event happens. Which, by the way, that single factor alone, the fact that I couldn't record on the phone, that I was trying, you have shitloads of witnesses saying that, but it doesn't matter because I'm testifying to you. And so far, track record hasn't been that's the same file, right? So it means I can delete this one. Can I have at least enough for the big one? No. 1662. By the way, 24th was one day before the largest release of narcotics from me, which was the same day, next day they would make Chip's mom disappear. Okay. Great advice on that. 26, 27. Those ones. You can see. Just go down. Now we have enough. See what the next one will be. And I just want to point out this to you. That's 500 megabytes. 1 gigabyte to be considered both. That I now have to store in this very suppressed amount of space that I have on everything. Just because I didn't want to interrupt that video through the entire thing. Then I'll show you something else that I've been trying to help for context. The other one would be the other video back there. By the way, notice the speed, how it went first and then how it switched. Pay attention to that speed. See if you judge that that's the only thing being done on this one. The only thing being done by me, but I'm gonna see the video that I was doing before. And St. Christ chip is a piece, which I don't know if it's something they're throwing in the air or not throwing in the air. I don't know if it is some type of thing that is the Lord having some compassion so I'll be able to finish this. I actually think it's more that they're not throwing things in the air. Because what's the need to, right? They want me to do that. They find this funny. They enjoy what they content. Not just the random fucking criminal. Again, mind you, we didn't saw one criminal. We saw many. I saw that. Check some on the file. Oh yeah, because we have to check every single checksum. Also, keep noticing how those things always start to creep up, or we start to be very mindful of the evidence, right? Because again, as I said, how can they not have the right to do whatever they want as random other human beings, many of which never met before in life, without any repercussion whatsoever? And if you have evidence of it, then all of a sudden there might be some repercussion, and that must be dealt with. And that's what we're essentially seeing right now. Because again, none of the things you're seeing here are new. I can pick up here evidence of a couple months ago, and you're going to be seeing the same thing. That was a very small child. The one with the female running around, so just pointing that out here. From this distance, mind you. So, imagine, again, there was a female turning around while the child just kept going. Even though the child was among people before. Those are the criminals of children, as you mentioned. So, another question for you as for this crime. Look at the question. Again, and then they go on their lives. They don't care. It's fun. What would you do, again, for what is yours? So that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking this for them. I was thinking that downstairs, and that's not actually saying that indeed because this happened. Which was essentially even the assumption with some type of conversation like the person share we had on that. That's what I'm showcasing, what they actually do. At any point, this is about that. Any individual who do what they do is not one you discuss with. That's what you say. Okay? But as I just pointed out, between that to the cologne here, to the beautiful combination for the horror combination. What do you think the intent on that is? I didn't even mention about the thing there about the smell. Like ever. So, what was the assumption? Why did you even think about that such thing?
Olá, tudo bem? Eu tenho gatinho em casa. Eu posso deixar.
Não, tem razão, pode deixar.
Posso deixar pra
Não, pode poder. Tem razão, gente.
ela tem?
Tem, tem.
Tá tranquilo mesmo?
Sim. Video earlier today, helping me try to read my mind, if nothing else. And then I was just watching videos about. I'm gonna show you the YouTube video info. And there's something I said earlier about probably dehumanization. It's actually very easy to demonize people. I mean, like, expected to do that. Huh? So, another reason is recording in case some crime was to be done, as you see, it's a 1 hour recording. Just actually forgot about it. It's a big problem. It's face the problem, as you see. I was watching well headphones. I don't think so. So, just watch something. Never clue what it is. It was talking something on the lines of the expecting that they were doing things the way with some salt and problems. Nothing bad tomorrow. And you say, well, what actually happened? Well, so I always ask myself, I'm I'm quite sure you will consider. I am really confident you guys will figure it out. The guy doing that was the nudge that I needed to give myself some satisfaction. So, maybe they're right. Maybe everybody else is sure that they are. You just sit down by faith. Me advise on that. Also, as I said, I wake up every day and I go to sleep every day. I'm sure what they would decide to do a month ahead, and not a single person would share that with me or the police or anyone else. Mind you, which is an important point. Again, it takes just one person, right? For each of those crimes, each of the major crimes and major atrocities, it would have taken one person. For a public crime like this, so be advised of all the faces and not the ones you saw right now. Particularly if indeed are not the most serious crime that should be done. Again, those faces are very public, and that's why they get public release in case something were to be done to me. And I'm quite sure it's something that they find ridiculously funny, but not based on what I experienced. So, in the point, once again, same place as the belong in the law. So, as for that, make sure that the fire is in. We should do that.